Welcome to 303 BPM, keeping the pulse on Denver's underground EDM scene. I'm your host, Evening Bass, and this is the sound of the underground. So picture this, I'm walking around Soul Dance Music Festival, and I stop at this vendor booth, and I'm chatting it up with the guy running it. We're talking clothes, art, and then he casually mentions that the person on the main stage, currently playing, was playing one of his tracks. And I realized, huh, you're a Coffey. I love your music. Based out of Denver, Coffey is a bass producer and sound designer with a raw, heavy hitting dubstep sound. Makes some nasty trap, some deep wubs, very reminiscent to a DDD type vibe, or the artist Salty, which you may know. But he's more than a producer. He's also an active part of the scene. He's a vendor, vending at shows, festivals, selling merch. He's one of those artists who's just in it, whether he's on stage, in the crowd, or behind the booth selling gear. So let's get into his story. This is Coffey.
Oh my God!
Sick.
Well, thank
That's
you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me.
Of course. I was super excited to have you on. I think one of your songs that I found like forever ago on SoundCloud is one of those songs where it's like super deep buried in your likes, but whenever it comes up on shuffle, it like sends you back to when you found it.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, oh, I freaking forget the name, but I could sing it, you know?
Yeah.
But anywho, it was kind of hard to find a little more about you just because with a lot of artists, I know your stage name, but I don't necessarily always know your human name. So,
Yeah,
what is your name?
well, surprisingly, it is also coffee. That is what everyone calls me. It's my last name, so got over the fam always. My first name's Kyle, but nobody really calls me that except my mom when I'm in trouble or something.
Totally.
Yeah, everyone just calls you coffee, and that's who I
That's
am.
how
Yeah,
it became. Nice.
yeah, yeah.
Also, I found it. I think it's that salt.
That's all.
Okay, I'm reloaded. Unloading, unloading,
We were talking
Yep,
about that. Yeah.
yep. That's all. That was hugely inspired by Brent. Amazing
AKA
human
salty.
being. Yeah, aka Salty. Um, one of my good friends and just an amazing human being. But I find huge inspiration from his just like I don't know, just deep minimalistic, like roots
Very,
type.
yeah, like
Like
heavy hitting for not being like extremely loud or fast.
yeah,
Like,
or like in your face, just like wompy. And
yeah,
like I'm like I really fuck with that and everything that he does. I love all of his art
yeah.
and yeah, if you ever have the opportunity to just have a conversation with him, he's an amazing person. So
Salty, please come on my podcast. I would love to talk to you.
yeah,
That's
Brent,
so cool.
we calling you out.
Oh, for real. Well, what I appreciate about like his sound, your sound, Medicine Place, Doctor, like that little like genre, that little corner of EDM. I don't even know what to call it, like trap music or like trap bass.
I don't
It,
know, just deep wubs.
yeah, like a deep dub
Just yeah, deep dub.
that you're kind of like bouncing with
Yeah,
it.
just that kind of boppy. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, well, let's get into a little bit more about you. Where are you originally from?
From technically upstate New York, but I like to think it's still downstate. It's about an hour north of Harlem. Small town, Mayapack in Putnam County. If you guys know White Plains or Portchester at all, it's about 30 minutes from either of those cities. But just a small reservoir town,
What's it called?
Mayapack,
Mayapack?
Mahopac. If you want to
Oh,
get,
that's what it
yeah, if
is.
you want to get real,
Oh my gosh, so
uh,
pretty.
it was a beautiful place to grow up. It's
Wow.
changed a lot since I've left.
Yeah. very like coastal New England.
Yep,
That's so
sort of tucked
cool.
away. It's like I said, it was a
Oh.
beautiful place to grow up.
You
The
said
school,
upstate?
well, anything outside the city is technically
That's
upstate,
okay,
you know.
that's
So if
fair.
you ask anybody from the city, like I'm upstate, but
Yeah.
yeah, we're like right there.
You're
We're like
still, yeah.
45 minutes from the city.
Wow.
Which was it was cool. You know, it was a quiet place. There wasn't a ton of like skateboarders or people that were really into what I was into so much. So I sort of, um, I mean, after I graduated high school, my family was sort of breaking up, and I wanted to like leave home, but like not go too far. So I went to a community college up in Syracuse,
Oh, where'd you
on
go?
Onondaga.
Mhm.
And you know, the first time I went, like I was really just going to get a degree because my father never got one. And I didn't have any real direction on like what I wanted to do or anything. So I mean, I got really good grades at first, but then towards the end of the semester, just got really wrapped up in a relationship with this girl that I met, and we had gotten like engaged, which it wasn't like that serious of an engagement, but I still took it kind of seriously.
Hey,
And
no, that's a big promise. That's a
yeah,
swear.
and
That's not just a promise, that's a swear, so
yeah, so I mean, at a certain point, I just like stopped going to class. Like I didn't like withdraw or anything. I was getting good grades, but like I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, or like what am I gonna do with
yeah.
business management. Like I was like, I'm just cranking numbers. I'm just on autopilot trying to get a good grade. So I just stopped going to class, and then she ended up getting into a really bad like grease fire and like burned like both of her arms and her legs, and she had to get
Whoa.
skin grafts done. And
Oh
yeah,
my
so she
god.
was like in like the intensive burn care for probably like a month and a half.
What
And then
year was all of this hitting, like, kinda coming down?
that was probably, I want to say maybe like 2014,
Okay,
around that time.
so
So it must have
you're
been like a year or two after I got out of
high school,
after high
so
school.
you're 20, give or take a year or
Yeah, I think
so,
I was like, yeah, I was
19?
roughly like,
Okay.
yeah, 1920.
Wow, so much happening right out the gate.
I tried to move back up to Syracuse to be with like her and her family because, you know, obviously she was healing, and we were just staying this like they have this like back, it was like almost like a shed, but it wasn't a shed, it was like way nicer than that, but like
Yeah,
definitely wasn't like an apartment.
they're called carriage
It
homes.
was like, yeah, yeah,
They're
yeah. So
basically like an insulated studio with, like, a
yeah,
bathroom and stuff, yeah.
exactly. Well, it didn't even have a bathroom, but it had like a sink. It had like it had a fridge. We had our bed and like TV. Like it had power hookups and stuff. So like we made it sort of like a home.
Mhm.
And I was trying to find a job out there, and just things just like weren't really going right. And
Oh
after
my
that,
god, that
I
sucks.
moved home and started working with my dad, and then me and her she just ended up splitting. It just didn't work out, and you know, I
Yeah.
understand why and everything.
So, I'm curious, you said, like, you were graduating high school and your family started breaking up. Was that, like, a divorce or, like, a
Yeah.
loss?
So, uh, when I was probably like 10 or 11, my dad ended up taking over my cousin's construction business. It was just like um heating and ventilation, so that he was installing, you know,
Yeah.
AC units and stuff in the residential and commercial buildings, which my father is the hardest, best worker ever. But as far as the business side of things, like he had a partner, which was one of his best friends, and he was taking care of the business side of things, and just completely fucked the business up and was extorting a ton of money from my
No.
dad and everything. So he fell into this like depression, like, yo, I'm a
Yeah.
failure. I bought this business. I should have just
Oh.
like not done any of this. And I really got to him, and I don't know, he just ended up you know, getting into substance abuse and stuff
Mm,
like that. Just
yeah.
you know, and
That's
it just
tough.
really drove a wedge in the family. He
Yeah.
wasn't around a lot for a little bit, and he was just fucking up.
But
But
everyone's
it's okay, you know,
yeah.
everything me and my father have a great relationship now. Like,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
like, I love that man to death. He's been good. He's been sober for, over 20 years. He just works and takes care of my brother.
Aw.
He recently just had lung cancer, so I actually had to fly out earlier this year and sort of nurse him, back to health, sort of be his parent for a little bit, which
Aw.
was really weird.
Yeah,
And
that's
really weird mindset when you
very
like
weird.
a couple months ago it was like you're speaking to your dad, and then you get on the phone and you're like, this doesn't even sound like the same person. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, you're not thinking straight.
Mhm.
You're just like, you can hear it in his voice. I'm like, dude,
Yep.
I sort of like
Yeah.
knew something was gonna come up. He's had other medical issues because of smoking and still does
Right.
it. He's stubborn as fuck. I love him to death, but he ain't gonna change in his ways. That's okay. But
So, is he still currently battling that, or
no, so, I went out there because he was supposed to stay in the hospital and get a feeding tube because he had, like, lost, like, a lot of weight really
Yeah.
quickly, like 40 pounds in, like, a couple
Wow.
months. And so, like, when I went out there, I was, like, kinda shocked, like, "Oh, shit, dad, like, you are in a
Not
way worse position than
Mhm.
you're thinking and just in denial, like, "Oh, yeah, I'm not dying." And I'm like, "Nope,
Yeah.
I've spoken to all the doctors, and they said, 'You need this feeding tube, and there's a good possibility, like, you're not gonna pull through, like, you haven't finished your chemo treatments because your body doesn't take well to it, and,
So you
you're
had
unable to
to
eat.'" I was like, "Alright, dad, well, if you're not gonna get the feeding tube, you refuse to be in the hospital, we gotta find something you could eat so you could, like, gain your strength back
Mhm.
enough so that they could
Continue, like,
continue with the
treating him.
yeah,
Yeah.
like, continue with the surgery." And, then, yeah, I found out he's the most stubborn eater in the entire planet. He just wants, a hamburger with cheese, well done on a bun. No ketchup, no anything, and I'm like, "Alright, dude, that's weird." Alright, and then
Cheeseburger.
or, like, steak, well done.
He sounds like a man of his generation.
It was
What did he
just it
eat?
was just straight potatoes. 3 times a day, I was just feeding him plates of potatoes.
Yep.
He was able to gain a little bit of weight back, and then they were like, "Okay, we're just gonna run the last surgery because 'cause you're not doing the 3rd, run of chemo."
Mhm.
So then they brought him in, cut out half his lung, sent him home, and he was like, "Yeah, it kinda sucks. It's kinda aches." But this motherfucker was still smoking cigarettes after. I was like, "I hate you so much."
Good.
He's still kicking it. I'm
That's
gonna go
good.
visit him soon and my brother.
Cool.
Um,
Is your mom still in that same area in New York,
she's
or
kinda close. She moved to Connecticut, so she's living on top of a mountain overlooking, like, a 17-mile lake,
Ooh,
like,
where'd she
her
move to?
uh, Sherman, Connecticut,
Sherman.
yeah. Yeah, no, it's just, absolutely gorgeous. She's in this, like, private residential area, and,
Ooh, is it,
she's, like, overlooking
yeah,
one
like
of
that
these
lake?
lakes, yeah.
So, I'm guessing it's kind of like a country club, but like a country club neighborhood kinda
It
thing?
almost has that type of vibe when you pull up to the gate and you need to put in a code, but then it's like just no, just like
It's
absolutely
just
beautiful
normal,
houses.
yeah.
Yeah, some of the people that own some of the houses are like really big artists, so, like architecture. So like the houses are just immaculate, just out in the woods and the sticks. Like I said, on top of a mountain overlooking a lake. So
Oh,
it's an
so pretty.
absolute treat anytime I get to go home and see my mom.
Yeah.
I try to stay for as long as possible just to,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
she watches the sunrise and sunset every single day. Um,
Aw.
yeah, there's a whole fireworks show on her birthday because she's born July 4th. So there's a whole fireworks show that she
Oh,
always gets to see for free just sitting on her porch. They're just blasting them off everywhere. Um,
that's so
she's
sweet.
living the dream. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
cool. I
Yeah.
hope she's happy, cause
Yeah, she is very happy, yeah, and one of the best people I know, one of my biggest supporters, and, even
aw,
though I go through a lot of tough times in my life, she's always been the one to, like, really ground me, so I'm really
that's
grateful to
awesome.
have her as my mother.
Yeah. Well, shout out mom and shout
Yeah,
out
big shout
dad.
out Stephanie
Hell
and
yeah.
Tom, let's go.
Yeah. Shout out. Well, hey,
Steph and Tom.
there's a lot to I mean, you got hit with a lot really young, and it sounds like you've just been moving on, moving forward no matter what's hitting you, even
Yeah.
now with your dad recovering or in remission from cancer, hopefully.
Yeah, yeah, he's
Um
back at work, so he's feeling a lot better,
yeah,
and, yeah.
that's good. Well, when people go through trauma in like their adolescence, it doesn't just stay in that time period of your life.
No.
Like you carry all of that with you, and that's where the term baggage comes from. And
Yeah. I mean,
it's
no, I mean
you have to
it deeply
face it at some
it
point is what I'm
deeply
trying to
impacted
say.
me for a long period of time. And I think that's originally why I got into music festivals. I was like, I could just go get lost and not think about any of this stuff and just go have fun. And
Yeah.
you know, I didn't even know music festivals were a thing until I was in college and my friends were like, "You trying to go to Camp Bisco?" And
Stop! You
I
went
was
to
like,
Bisco?
yeah,
So did Albert.
that was, like, before it was on Montage Mountain, like
Oh,
yeah,
okay, he
when the
went on the
Hells
mountain.
Angels was still the, security, and I was like, "You're
Wow.
lying, they don't do music
Wait,
festivals."
Hell's Angels
We're the
were the
security.
security?
Yeah, it was pretty rad. I saw them definitely choke out a couple people, but it was the last year they had it in Albany, and it completely changed my life. I was like I went there and I was like, "Wow," I was like, "This is I wanna do this all the time." And for the next, like, 5 or 6 years, I went to probably, like, 11 music festivals a year, in between going to school full time. And
Wow. So, like, 2015 to, like, COVID. Those were honestly such
yeah,
prime EDM
maybe
years.
slightly before COVID, because once I moved out to Denver, I stopped doing so many festivals just because there's, on the East Coast, there's festivals all along up and down the East Coast, and they're,
Mhm.
it's like, maybe 6, 8 hours away, like, pretty close. Out here, it's like we have like Sonic Bloom or like Decadence or something like that. So there's not like a ton of like big music festivals out here. Which
But we get,
Denver's
like
a base capital. We
yeah.
have like all the venues and everything. It's a big bubble out here, but then outside the bubble, it's like you're driving like 14, 16, 18 hours to get to like the next sort of like
Well, a few things
decent
right,
scenes.
like a big name festival, right? Well, a couple things. There are plenty of small homegrown music festivals in Colorado, and I'd have
Yeah,
to say
which are absolutely amazing.
yeah,
I love them all, but the community out here, it's like you see a lot of the same people, so it's like
yeah,
when you're on the East Coast, then you could like tour up and down the East Coast. It's like you're kind of just exposing yourself to a lot of communities that
yeah,
each have their own,
yeah,
section of people that are,
yeah,
where as opposed to like one big community where we all know each other here. Like,
yeah,
I mean, if you're out in Denver for long enough and you're in the scene, it's like it's kind of hard not to know
yeah.
everybody at almost every show you go to, which isn't a bad thing. I absolutely love that. But
It's different. It's just
it's
different.
just it's just a little different. It's yeah.
It's the bubble. So, like,
And
on
it's
that
like it's sort of
bubble,
hard to make a name for yourself out here just because it is super oversaturated.
we
Whereas
do get like every you're talking
and you
about
got people coming in and out
festivals,
of state.
right?
Well, even just for like regular shows
Well,
too.
that's what I'm saying is you're getting just about every single name on a lineup that you could want from any EDM festival. It's likely that person will be coming to Denver at some point that year or the
Yeah,
next year. Like,
yeah, exactly.
eh,
As well as just like the smaller names and the homies that you're trying to support and everything like that.
yeah,
So yeah,
cool.
um,
Well, I
it's not a
mean,
bad thing, but
no, but it sounds like it was kind of like an escape, a release. I mean, that's a lot of people's story, and same. I mean,
it's easy to just push to the side, and that stuff sort of like bottles up and comes out at some point one way or
hmm
another.
oh
So
yeah,
just learning to like face those traumas like head on and to actually sit there and do a lot of self reflecting and like I don't know. I find meditating has helped a lot. Breathing techniques. I mean, I've
yeah,
learned a lot of things along the way to like sort of help with some of my past traumas, but you know, life
yeah.
keeps going on. And one of my biggest things, I guess, over the past year is learning how to create boundaries and like
Oh yeah,
sticking by those boundaries. Like, for the most part, I'm like a pretty nice guy, and I'll just, just be like, hey, like what needs to be done, I got it. Like I'll just handle it, like whatever. And really, I should be creating boundaries and being like, hey, like I'm actually not okay with this type of behavior, and I'm not gonna enable it by just being like cool about it. And I'm just gonna put my foot down and be like, this is not all right, and I'm sorry, but like,
hey,
I've had to
good
like
for
sort
you.
of cut a lot of people out,
Well,
which isn't a bad thing, and all love still towards a lot of these people and everything, but sometimes you just need to like distance yourself from things that are just,
not for you.
yeah, well,
Yeah,
it just isn't healthy. It might just be toxic, and it might be toxic for both parties, and just be and just me being who I am and me being nice about it, sometimes just enables that type of
Yeah.
behavior, which makes in turn, their situation even worse. Even though I'm doing everything I can just to help them, but it's like they grown as they grown as
But that's the
adults,
thing is, like,
they can
you
sometimes they need to learn on their own,
yeah.
and, like, at a certain point, it's like, when do I feel taken advantage of? When do I feel like I'm just getting walked all over, and they
Mhm.
know that, like, I will just always be there to get their back, and, I love all these people, and I still do have these people's backs, but, yeah, like I said, creating a boundary and being like, "Hey, this is where it is, and if you
Mhm.
cross that, then I'm sorry, but, like, I just need time to myself."
Boundaries are a sign of love,
Yeah.
honestly,
Yeah.
for yourself and the people that you're having them with. Because for the longest time, I was such a people pleaser, floor mat, like, I didn't
Yeah.
even feel taken advantage of because I was so desperate for love or acceptance or validation, external
Then you have, like,
validation.
connections with these people, so it's like, if you have a heavy connection with these
Oh,
people and
yeah,
everything, yeah, being a people person with
and
or a people pleaser
yeah.
that's very much where I was at, which I guess going and
Well, and
just
you don't
speaking
wanna,
with a
like,
lot of,
rock the
like
boat. Like, you I don't know if you were under the same impression, but when I was, like, in that people-pleasing tendency, I thought having a boundary or saying no or putting myself first was, like, gonna ruin the relationship or harm the relationship, and so I ended up doing a lot more harm than good by enabling these
Yep.
people's or my own actions or my own toxic behaviors, and, like, oh my gosh, all of the crazy roommates I've had, we're
Yep.
just like mirrors of each other. I could go through all of them and what I've
Yep.
learned
Yeah.
about them and myself, so you learn a lot about other people and yourself, and like being able to communicate that and talk
Yeah.
about heavy things, have that boundary, especially if they're able to respond and like and meet you in the middle with that same energy. That's like not only repairing, but you're like, oh hell yeah, like this is strengthening it.
Yeah, 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 for sure. And hard conversations bringing for better relationships. So,
Yeah,
sometimes it just takes like being like, hey, like, this has been going on, and moving forward, if this behavior continues, then there are going to be
repercussions.
repercussions. Thank you for
Yeah,
your actions and for my actions too. So
yeah,
like, and this is how it has to be, and sticking to that has honestly just been helping me out at least with my mental health for the
totally.
past year, because last 2 years probably like despite everything else that I went through was probably like the hardest couple years of my life. I
Same.
I lost one of my best friends. He
Oh,
passed away in the basement, and me and a bunch of friends found him. And ever since then, it was that was really hard for me to deal with. I
I'm
spent
so
every single
sorry.
day with that kid for like 8 months. I didn't handle it well. I sort of spiraled a little bit. Was drinking a lot more
Mhm.
and just just trying to disassociate, and I wasn't handling the situation well at all. And I apologize to anybody along the way that sort of saw me fall down into that. And it wasn't just that too. It was, roommate after roommate that I had moved in would not do chores or pay rent. So like I was just being more and more put financially in a
Ugh,
hole while having all
yeah,
these responsibilities, while also having to kick out people. And they just
yeah.
cycled through more people that in turn just took more advantage and caused problems. So it's just
Oh,
like sometimes when you're going against the grain with the universe, it just means you're on the wrong path. And I really tried to. It took me years and years just to like get the money to have that place and to live with a lot of my friends and to so like it's like everything I wanted when I was like living out here. And yeah, it just
until that
it went
happened.
until, like, all that happened, and, it would've been nice to have, like, a little more help, after all that, and after, splitting with my ex-fiance, my parents came out, threw me on a plane, brought me back home for a couple weeks, got sort of just, like, like, had me reset, and then, like, flew back out and, like, helped me, like, renovate the house and get everything so that, we were ready to move
Okay.
out.
Was it the same fiance from
No,
previously?
no, 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 no.
Okay.
So this is so I met my my last fiance at Sonic Bloom actually out here. I was just in the festival circuit traveling, and I came out here by myself, and just she was friends of friends, and I met her, and then we were going to all the same music festivals later in the year, and so we just started like just staying with each other, and towards the end of the semester or the circuit, I had to go back to school, and I was like, "Hey, listen, I can't do long distance. I need to go back to New York. I'd love to see how things go, but I can't. I'm not good with long distance. It's just not going to work." And she was just like a server and living out here, and she was like, "Hey, I'll just move to New York and let's see how things go." And so she moved in
Whoa.
after going to all these
And she
festivals,
was
and
living out here.
she was living out here in Colorado at the time, but then moved all the way to New
Mhm.
York until I finished school. Which the second time when I went back, I was just I took all music and art courses for a semester, just things that I would like. I was like, this is what I love. This is like what I would love to do with my life. I mean, after that, my parents were helping me pay for school, so I was like, they probably want me to get like something that's a little more versatile. So I ended up getting a
Cool.
liberal arts degree or associate's degree in liberal arts, and I was like a 4.0 student after that. Made the dean's list twice. Was just about to make honor roll. And she moved out for me to just finish up that last semester. And then once we finished that semester, we packed up and just moved out to Colorado. We found a house out here. Lived there for like 5 years.
And that was the house that your name was on? Like, the
Yeah,
lease?
well, that one was, but then after we left that house, we moved to Littleton,
Mhm.
which just nicer house. Big, it was like a 5 bedroom,
Oh,
multiple
I
floors.
know the kind.
Yeah,
Littleton's nice. You got
yeah, it
some
was
good stuff
nice.
down there.
Just still out in the burbs. So probably. I mean, we were 7 minutes from Red Rocks, but like probably like 20, 25 minutes from the city. Which was, I mean, it was cool. I loved it. And that's like what I was like used to and everything. But yeah, things just went really, really bad, especially after my best friend passed away, and then everything else leading down that path. And then yeah,
Sure,
so I moved out of that house this past December, and I moved into an apartment in Rhino, which has been absolutely amazing. I love living in the city. I don't have to have a car if I don't need one
Mhm.
because, after my best friend passed away, he also like really messed up my car. So I didn't have a car for like a year and a half, which is really difficult. Just trying to like make ends meet. I was working with Jameson. He was honestly the only one that like kept me afloat.
Aw.
Shout out to Open Minded Apparel, one of my best friends in the world. I absolutely love him. And I became the production manager there, and it was enough to like pay the bills and put food on the table for the time being, but wasn't really like making like a ton of headway. It was
Mhm.
still very early business, so my hours were limited, and I had to find rides there all the time, so it was just difficult. But yeah, no,
So that all happened in the past house last year, and
over the
then
last, like, 2 years, that's, like, Elijah passed,
he sorry,
December
I can
3rd, I think it was 2022,
okay,
so this'll be, like,
his 3rd year.
this'll be the 3rd year after
Yeah.
he passed away, yeah, and,
I'm so sorry that you had to go through that.
I
That's
mean, that's just life, I mean, I'm grateful like I said, I'm grateful for the time that I had with him. It was kind of like a shock at the time.
there's never a right time, there's never a right reaction, there's never a right response. Like in these blindsiding moments, what do you do? Like you're only human.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
I shut down as a human being,
yeah,
um,
totally.
and just sort of isolated myself and disassociated, along with all the other bullshit I was dealing with from just like other roommates and everything, and then my relationship with my ex now, just like got worse and worse and worse. We both ended up just like just falling into just I don't know, just unhealthy behaviors, and it just became really toxic.
It sounds
And
like these events, and this is something that I feel like a lot of people can relate to, is these events happen, they shake up your whole world, but then they do lead you to something hopefully better, or like
Yeah, well,
bigger,
the
or
saying,
like
some doors close so bigger ones can open, and,
yeah,
yeah,
and
I guess the
hopefully
biggest part
can
is, like, I was trying to fight all that and just, like, just get through it instead of just, like, accepting
oh
things as
yeah.
they are and, taking further steps. I was just shutting down, which, um, I was struggling pretty heavily, just a lot of emotional damage and just,
Yeah.
mentally I was falling to pieces, and, I'm just grateful to have such a heavy support system with my family,
Mhm.
to sort of, take those, and really, really great friends. Some really great friends that have been there the whole time, have seen me the whole time, and have just really had my back. And it just really shows like who your people are, who you can like really rely
Yeah.
on. And some of those boys are my roommates now. It's crazy because they weren't my friends before they were my roommates, but they became my roommates and then became my best friends. I feel like that's sort of the best situation because I've
Totally.
like lived with a lot of people that were my best friends, and then due to living with them,
Then it ruins
it
the
ruins
friendship.
the
Yep.
friendship, and then, like, we're
Yeah.
not, like,
Then
even
there.
friends that are, like, we'll, like, hit each other up, like, later and, be like, "Hey, I miss you, dog. It'd be really great to see you."
Yeah.
Definitely would never live with you again, but,
You just need space. Like, I had a roommate where we were pretty good friends, and then I think we just had different expectations going into it. And by the end, it just was not very good. And so now, I don't know, there's been some time. So I think if I saw them, it would not be like a big deal or anything. It
yeah,
would
you guys could
be,
probably be cool, maybe even, like,
yeah,
hang out sometimes, but, like,
yeah.
yeah,
But it's
yeah,
not going
it
to be the
definitely it
same.
definitely changes things, which is, like, always a shame, but,
But it shows you who, I don't know, to a certain extent, living with someone definitely shows you who they are. But then when you're living in an unhealthy situation, then that can like enable like the worst parts of everyone, kind of.
yeah,
So
yeah. That and just like over time,
yeah.
the little things start to become big things.
Oh yeah.
You know what I
They
mean?
they
And
like pile up.
that bottles up, and then it comes down to like, like really, really open communication and like how well you're able to compromise with that other person and stuff.
It
But
comes back to hard conversations.
yeah, exactly. And that could be difficult not only for like you as an individual, but for maybe the other person too.
Mhm.
And
Yeah. Hey,
yeah, sometimes people are just there and they're
yeah.
just like, might be good friends for a long time, and then they move in and then like, they just really, really take advantage of the situation, try to manipulate the situation. You're like, wait, actually, like
Wait a second. This is not what
I
I signed up for.
but
It
yeah, yeah,
sounds like
just
you attract I'm gonna sound so mean when I say this, damaged people.
I don't know why, but I'm like a magnet for that, and,
Or
for whatever
maybe
reason,
like toxic
they
people,
yeah,
or
they love me. I don't know
well,
why, and, it's yeah,
it's the people pleasing tendencies. And I see the reason I'm calling this out is because I am or was the exact same way. Like the last 3 to 4 years, especially, I've been really working on like myself and being more aware because in college, like, sure, I had shitty roommates, but I was definitely the shitty roommate too. Like,
yeah,
I had to take accountability for the things I was and weren't doing for, and when you can actually like take accountability, get past that shame, get past the ego of it all,
yeah,
then you not only realize like, hey, this is what growth feels like. This is cool, but then you start to attract that people with the same energy. And I'm really proud of you for, you were talking about boundaries. That's one of the hardest things to learn on your own as a people
and
pleaser
sticking by
too.
those boundaries,
Yeah.
like, 'cause there's been a ton of times where I make boundaries and people overstep them, and I'm like, "Eh,
I guess it's fine right
alright, I'll
now.
just deal with it because I don't really feel like it'll just be
Yeah.
easier and faster if I deal with the situation and just not create tension than to just stick by that boundary and hold other people accountable for theirs. But
Yeah.
that tends to be the wrong the wrong
Yeah.
outlet sometimes, and I went to therapy for a little bit after all this, and after my best friend passed away, after me and my ex split. That was really difficult for me, and So like I went to therapy for a while, and that was the biggest thing that my therapist was sort of like instilling in me and teaching me. And since then, things have been a lot better. Things that, granted, I have had to kick a lot of people out of my house recently. They just keep showing up,
It's the
and
final wave,
they
though.
don't want to leave. They love my place, and
It's the Wooks.
they
The
want.
Wooks love you.
Dude, they come over and they're like, "How about I live here?" And I'm
No,
like,
but that's
"How
actually
about
insane.
no?
How about you
I
actually
met
leave?
you like 10 minutes ago. I would actually prefer if you'd leave right now."
Yeah.
And that's like creating a boundary too.
Someone
Yeah,
someone asked you after 10 minutes to live with you?
yeah. I mean, it might have been a little longer. It might have been like an hour or two.
No, but, like,
Kicking it,
after the
but
first time, like, during your first meeting, not even like, "Oh, we'd met a couple times," but, like, during your initial impression.
yeah, yeah. I
You're
mean,
like,
the conversation started out great. It just been like them venting about like what they've been through and me venting about what I've been through. So like at first I'm like, okay, this is like healthy, like, and
"Trauma
I'm like,
bonding."
yeah, I'm like, yeah, yeah, I guess so. But like, I wasn't even trying to like get to like that level, and it's just like, and they're
Well,
like, I would like to live here, and I'm like, dude, no, can I call you a lift? Like, what are your plans? And
can
they're just
you
like, huh? Um,
Well, I think
but
that you have a very well, one, hello, I walked up to you too.
yeah,
That's how we met. I walked up to you. Like, I was looking for a place to roll my joint, and you're just vibing, and there was an open seat, and I'm like, maybe this homie will let me roll next to him.
yup,
And we were just talking, and you were very, like, easy to talk to. Like, your energy was very calm and non-confrontation, or not intimidating, or I don't know, it's
yeah, yeah.
some
I mean, I'm also a vendor too, so
yeah.
that's
Yeah,
that comes with the job, just
yeah.
like being very personal too, and that's just me as an individual already. Like I'm already like that, so like just being a vendor as well. I mean, I love meeting new people. I love making new connections and just networking and stuff like that. So I mean, when you popped up and you were like, "I know you and your music,"
Hey, I know you.
I was like,
I'm
"No
literally that guy
way!"
showing up to your apartment
I was
being like,
like,
"I know you."
I was like, "Stop it!" I was like, "Oh, I'm blushing." I was like, "This is cool.
Yeah.
Let's smoke this
Well,
joint."
you were way too low key when I was rolling, and you're like, "Yo, is this my song?" You're like, I think this is he's playing my song right now."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it
You're like,
was
he's
Saturna. I
Yeah,
think it was Saturna.
yeah. You're
She's
like,
been
he's
blasting mine and Fern's song "Dance" off
yeah.
his last EP.
You should go
Which
check it out.
yeah, if you don't know anything about the Qualia Boys, they are making huge waves. Some
Oh
of my
yeah,
favorite people and some of my favorite artists. Their sound design and just art is absolutely
insane.
incredible. So
Yeah.
definitely go check them out.
For
Yeah,
sure. I got the chance to take a workshop with Chmura and Fern,
yeah, yeah.
so
Oh yeah.
I got to meet Fern very briefly. I was at a producer's retreat, so there's a bunch of us there, but and I was honestly a little nervous because I'm
Oh no,
not
he
confident
is the
in my
he is the
ableton
biggest
skills, so
sweetheart in the world.
yeah, so
Like
nice. Him and Chmura, like
yeah, Kai is.
Kai, thank you. I'm like,
He's one of the
forgetting
most
his
humble
name.
people I know.
Yes.
Like the first
Oh
time
my
I ever
god.
saw him play was at Sugar Cube. It was the original one when it was
At
still in the
Sugar
garage.
Cube?
Yeah, before it was like in the warehouse in this huge system.
When
It was
was
just like
that?
a cube, and they had the four functions all faced towards the center. So you just sit in the center under the stage, and it was like they built a cube, and you got to just like lay in these like beds under the cube while the homies are just get like throwing down above you. He played
What?
this set, and I was just like, "Holy fuck! Like, who are you,
Who
bro?"
is
I was
this?
like, "Have I never heard of you before? Like, do you do lessons? Do you do this? Do you do
Mhm.
that?" And he was just the coolest person I've
He is so
encountered.
nice.
Yeah, he was so incredibly
Similar, like,
amazing.
open energy, like, he at no question was a dumb question, whether it was talking about Serum 2 or, like, how to be a freaking DJ producer in Denver, like,
Yeah, yeah,
we
and
talked
that was
about
like before he like started like really, really blowing up and everything.
when was
Which
that? Do you know? Do you remember? Because I feel
ooh,
like I came into the scene right after Sugar Cube burned down, and I came
that
in
might have been.
2021.
Ooh, no, it had to have been like around that time, maybe 2020.
Sugar Cube, Denver. There's a
Yeah,
fire,
I don't
right?
even know if they have it on they have their website up anymore. I know after they closed the warehouse due to, like, just, like, fire, uh, you know,
It goes. It
the fire
says,
department came in and said, "No, you can't have hot tubs and other cool things in here without all these crazy permits." And the city just, like, was just, like, really not about it, I guess. At least that was my take in it, which,
well,
I mean, they
yeah.
were doing huge things. Sound was impeccable. Like, I absolutely loved, everything that they were doing, and I was really hoping that they would, either find a new location or
Yeah.
figure all that out, but I think
Community.
just, yeah,
The Community. I'm on
yeah.
their website, which is a sick website, by the way. Really cool, like colors and graphics, and it says all the things. Okay, it says 18,000 square foot lounging, balconies, stripper poles, fire pits, hot beverage stations, and the largest Function One sound system in the country.
Yup,
And
yup.
what's cool is that they not only changed the venue space by adding, like, hot tubs and stripper
Well,
poles and
it just got to
couch,
the
and
point where there's like, yo,
there's
that
so
little
much.
garage that they started out in, it like, it was like very like a private event. Like you had to be a member, you had to pay a subscription and
Yeah.
stuff just to like have access to any of this stuff. And even at that point, it just got way too big to have it in that little space. So they found like this like huge warehouse space. And yeah, I mean, like if anybody did it right, like that was one of my favorite underground spots that
Oh,
that I've encountered in Denver
I wanna
just from the couple
know.
years that I've been living out here. It was cool because they created like this community that was like really open to like everybody and everything, but also it held like some sort of like privacy and
Well, it was,
like
like, no pressure. It's kind of like an open space, like a safe space, kind
yeah,
of?
that
Like,
it very much was
because it's
that.
underground, there's this, like, and I feel like this goes for the underground, any underground event in general, where if you know, you know, and if you're
Yeah.
in the scene, you know the vibes, you know what's going on. You know, everyone has kind of a mutual understanding, similar to when you're at a music festival. Like,
Yeah.
do you want to hear my hot take?
I
Like,
do.
people are gonna hate me for this.
Yeah.
Take the DJs off the stage. We're performing, but I feel like there's so much pressure for us to not only play a great set, but then, like, actively be animated and jumping, and like I'm look at me, like, as the artist. Like, not everyone wants to be seen like
In that
that, in
light,
that
yeah,
way. And
yeah. I
I
mean,
think everyone facing the DJ with their phones up, like, it has just gotten to be so, there's so much clout and so much hype that we've lost so much of the
yeah, and
music.
then that also just creates, like, bigger and bigger egos sometimes,
Yeah, because then
which
you have people, like, kissing their ass, sorry,
yeah,
but,
and
like,
sometimes when as an artist, like, when, like, everybody's doing that, it's, like, hard for that person to have just general connections, and then they're just literally, like, living their life as a persona instead
yeah,
of, like, so
right.
it can be detrimental on both ends.
But, yeah, that's my
I
hot
very much,
take.
like, agree with that, like, hey, yeah, it would be kinda tight to just, like, have, like, a really sick LED wall or, like, somebody doing, like, some projection mapping
Okay,
where it's just all
listen,
about the
I thought
art, and
about
then you're
this.
just sort of off to the side, which
Yes.
Dave Tipper does a lot of that stuff, and there are a lot of other artists that,
Have you been to the concert room in Meow Wolf? Like, that big room?
I have,
I picture, get rid of the stage, leave the cool backdrop lighting. And have you been there for a show? Like,
yeah.
did you go to Danceportation
No,
by
I
any
wasn't at
chance?
that one,
Okay,
I went to a
so
ganja one,
okay, so but you've been
and
there
a
where they
couple others.
projection mapped and they did all that. I
Yeah.
think projection mapping visuals and, like, having, oh my god, you could get so creative with what you project. You could tell a whole story. You could, like, Ganja White Night, imagine a set. And okay, I love the boys. I love seeing them. Like, of course I love watching my favorite artists do what they do. Like, it's, you can see it, you can feel the passion, but, like, imagine how sick it would be to know Ganja is in the room with you as they're playing through their new album, as Ebo is playing his movie that he made
Yeah.
for the album. And, like, how sick would that be? I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, Absolutely.
But anyway, if anyone wants to steal this idea, please do.
Yeah,
I will only
we
take
need more
small
of that. We
royalties.
need more of that.
Yeah, and I trust me, like, don't get me wrong, I love being on stage. Like, I love performing. Like,
Right, right. I think
but
there needs to be like a little bit of both,
yeah,
though. A little bit of because there's not enough of the other side. There's too much of that one side where it's
well,
like,
start facing your friends at concerts.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Or boiler room sets. We need more boiler room sets where it's like the stage is just in the center,
Yes, and people are just like around.
surrounded it
Yeah,
like 360 style,
yeah,
like the type of energy you get in those types of
yeah.
sets are just yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Those are
Yeah,
really cool as well. So I absolutely love
yeah.
that aspect.
The
But
elevator way.
switching it up, just
Yeah,
switching it up more and more.
but we've been talking for quite a while, and we have yet to even get to coffee or your bending. So before we get too much into another tangent, how did you how'd you get into production? How'd you choose coffee? I know it's like your nickname.
Yeah, so I mean originally I was super into skateboarding. For the time I was like 12 till I was 19. I would do that for like 10 hours a day and I was a big street skater, so just jumping downstairs, handrails, hubbas, all that. And I bailed out. This one time I landed on my feet and my knee broke sideways. So I tore my ACL, my MCL, my patella tendon, soft tissue tears, microfractures. The camera guys had to just like drop their cameras, carry me up to the ambulance.
That is why
And
you're so chill, is because you grew up a skater. If you grew up skating, you've fallen on your ass so many times, probably broken bones, probably
yeah,
almost got hit by cars. Like, you've already been through so
yeah,
much.
I took out all my anger when I was younger, but I was really working my way up to get like a local sponsorship from one of the local shops, Second Nature, uh, which I think they're still a thing. Shout out to those guys. But yeah, no, I ended up destroying my knee. I had to
Oh
wait like a
my
month for the
god.
swelling to go down, just for them to have surgery, and then they took ligaments from my right leg, stuck them in my
Oh
left
my
leg. So I was
god.
in double knee immobilizers for like 5 months. Couldn't really move.
And
Yeah,
how
while I
old were
was in my
you?
recovery, I opened up Fruity Loops. It was just like a
Okay.
demo to Fruity Loops, and I started to do that a little bit. And I was like, I don't know if Fruity Loops is my thing. I don't really know what I'm trying to make, but I ended up getting this like small like Pioneer mixer. It was like or it was a Serato mixer. I think it was like an S1 or something, and
Cool.
I just started DJing, and I started doing that for a little bit. Went back to college. I was still just like mixing, creating mixes, and I got into this music festival and camped next to these homies. And they saw that I put a mix out. It was like a 15-minute mix. It took me like a week playing this mix just to like record it and get it how I wanted. And they randomly hit me up and was like, "Hey, how would you feel about opening for Lucid in New Paltz?" And at first
Whoa.
I was like, "Bro, I have like a broken mixer. I don't know if you got the right kid." But they were like, "No, no, dude, you're good. Just show up, bring your stuff, and yeah, we'd love to have you." So
Oh my
I was like,
gosh.
okay, sweet. Played the Lucid show, and then I got booked again for to open for Lucid a second time.
Lucid
And
fucks, by the way.
dude, yeah, yeah,
He's underrated.
Neil is insane. Like,
He's so
yeah,
good.
no, absolutely. But yeah, no, he was playing at the Westcott, which is like one of like the only like real venues up in Syracuse that was like throwing consistent like bass shows and stuff. So I ended up playing for him then too, and then from that point on, I just was getting consecutive bookings. I mean, honestly, too many bookings to the point where I had to be like, "Hey, like I need to sort of take a step back." But I was growing like a really big following out there, which I mean that was cool. But after I graduated, I decided to make my way out to Denver, and yeah, I just kept playing shows
Kinda
and stuff. And
started over the following, and
yeah, and
yeah.
it just eventually got to the point where I was just, like, playing too many shows and, like, had too much stuff going on in my life to, like,
Mhm.
actually, like, because I'd been getting into production. I was getting to the point where I was like, "Hey, I love mixing other people's music, but I'm sort of at the point where, like, I wanna create my own music and put on my own performance with my own tunes and stuff like that."
Mhm.
So that's what really got me into production, and yeah, like I said, it just got to the point where I was like, "Hey, I need to take a step back from playing so many shows because I put a lot of effort into my performances normally
Definitely.
to like where I'm like, hey, this takes away from actually me like learning the craft and learning how to produce." So that's really what I've been focused on, just like especially this past year. like created and put out more music this past year than in the last 7 years of me trying to do production. And that's part of having a lot less responsibilities. I'm not super involved. And just getting to the point where I'm like, hey, like I have a bunch of unreleased music. Like I would love to perform and see how it is, see how people react to it. It's almost like an experiment too. So yeah, I mean, I've only taken a couple bookings this year. I probably won't take too many more, just because I'm really just trying to dial in like a pretty solid album. And
Nice. You working on an album right now?
yeah, 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 I am working on an
Please tell
album
us
right
a little
now.
about it.
Yeah, it's just I've just started to accumulate like a lot of projects that I have finished, and I do all my mix and mastering myself. So really brand it. I want to do a clothing drop and possible like vinyl release all at the same time. It's just these things take time. I probably have like maybe like 4 or 5 like super finished tracks of the album, and then I have like another 5 or 6 that are just in the works that might go on the album. They might not go on the album. And really once I finish that mixing mastering stage and play it with the rest of everything that I have going on, maybe I'll just put them out as EPs or singles, if they don't go on the album. But yeah,
That's
yeah.
so cool. Well, I'm looking forward to that album being released. Do you
Thank you.
have a
Yeah, it's called
timeline?
in the dark.
In the Dark by Coffee.
Yeah, I just because I just be in the studio in the dark.
Do you have any advice for like a beginner in your role?
Like one tip I could give is be as organized as possible. Make it a habit.
Make
When you
folders,
make
title
folder,
things.
yep, yep, drop them into the
Like,
Ableton like folder selection thing properly.
yep.
Like have like your
Organize your
projects
sounds.
folder even like
Yep.
where it has all of your projects. If you have that in your Ableton folders, you can go in and instead of having to like open up like a project and then going and you're like, I like this, or like I like these drums, or I like this bass, and then copying it, reopening the project, and then pasting it where you were at. You could just open up your projects and your channels in that projects folder and just drag and drop while still being in the same project.
Huh.
Which
You're gonna have to show me how to do that
yeah,
because
yeah, that was,
that's
my
really
buddy
cool.
Cephas showed me that, and I was just like, "Wow," like, really, like, just learning how to organize
Dude,
is, like
Ableton is so complex, and yet why can't I have two Abletons open at the same time?
I mean, you can go in and you can change it to having, like, double instances,
Oh.
but then also, it is hard to bounce back and forth, and it takes up a lot of CPU and stuff,
Oh, I'm sure
which
it's double the amount of
yeah.
computers crying.
Yeah, yeah, so,
I
I
mean,
mean, if you have 2 computers, you could have 2
right.
licenses, and then if you have the projects, just in a cloud somewhere, you should be able to and you have all the same VSTs, same version, you should be able to pull up the project on both computers.
Mhm.
There's always workarounds for it, but,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
like you said, it takes forever to just even, like, learn or understand
Yeah.
that these things are out there, and you can do that.
Yeah.
Like, it's like a muscle. So, like, you'll
Yeah.
just get better and better at it. You'll get faster and faster at it, and just keep going. Don't just get stuck on that same track, and just keep moving. And that's
And
that's one of the biggest things that I've had to learn too as
yeah,
a producer.
knowing
Because
when to call it.
yeah, because you
Yeah.
get attached to these projects, and
Yeah.
you want it to be the best it could be, and you're like, I really vibe with this. I really like mess with it, but it's not done. You can
Mhm.
always come back to it later, but like if you just like move on to that next project, once you get to that stage, you might learn some things along the way, and then be able to open up that past project that you haven't listened to like a million times in a row.
Mhm.
You don't got the same, you got fresh ears on it, and you're
Yeah,
like,
it's
oh,
been
I could do
a
this,
month
this, this,
or
this, this,
yeah.
and then you're like, wow, like that took 5 minutes instead of like 3 months.
An added benefit to learning is also like trusting yourself more. And like the more you start doing it, the more confidence you build, the more trust you build within yourself. And then it becomes easier when you are on that personal growth journey to then deal with like other things in your life too.
Yeah.
I did want to ask about your vending, just quick on the vending, how you got into that.
Yeah. So, one of my best friends ever, he was actually my cable guy when I first moved out to Denver. We had just moved into this new house. It was literally the first place that would accept us. He ended up just, yeah, he showed up and was, I was at Walmart at the time. I walked to the door and he was like, "You guys go to music festivals and do all that?" And I was just like, "Yeah." And
Yeah.
he was like,
Yep.
"You guys are pretty cool." He's like, "Do you have a job?" And I'm like, "Not yet." And he was like, "You wanna work with the at the cable company with me?" And I was like, "Alright,
Hell
bet, cool,
yeah.
yeah, thanks."
Sick.
And, since then, I mean, he's just always been one of the most positive, influential people in my life. He's just always he is next level. He's the kinda guy that'll wake up at, like, 5 in the morning and work till midnight, and he owns the business, Open Minded Apparel. Uh
Open-minded apparel. Shout out. And what
Yeah,
was his name again?
Jameson. Jameson
Jameson.
Lammers, yeah. He is the owner, the boss. He does everything. That is a renaissance man, an entrepreneur, and yeah, one of my biggest role models in my life.
Big energy to
Yeah,
match that, which sounds awesome. He sounds like a
yeah,
cool guy.
yeah, and he told me he was starting a clothing company, and I was working at a dispo at the time, and I owned a mushroom grow as well, so
Oh,
I
what?
was just sort of doing that, and he was like, "Yeah, man, I think I'm gonna get into embroidery and stuff, and I need help." And I was like, "Dude, I literally quit my job at the dispo. I was like, I will be readily available whenever you need me, any hours. Let me know, because I've always wanted to make clothes, especially get into embroidery." So he
Oh,
really took me in as
sick.
his right hand man, and
That's
I
cool.
eventually became more of like the production manager there. And yeah, I've just been with him from the start. It's been like about maybe 3.5 years that he started the company now. We have three industrial embroidery machines in the basement, a whole back end system where we can stay connected and everybody has their
Mhm.
own tasks,
Yeah.
a lot of automated stuff. And
Wow.
then we've been making a lot of merch for a lot of the upcoming artists in the Bay scene out here in Denver. We do
That's
job shipping
awesome.
as well, and we really help promote the artists just through our website. We'll sponsor them on the site, give them like a bio and like just like all of their clothes, so people can just order from us. We'll make it to order, ship it out for them. So it's a way for like artists to not have to put a ton of money down, maybe just for like the mock-up and digitizing for the images.
Mhm.
And then from that point, it's like, you don't have to order like 100, 200
Yeah, you
shirts
can do
and
an
then sit on
open
it and try to sell it. It's just like on the site, you can do pre-sales, you can do whatever to promote it. We'll help promote it as well. And then people can just go on the site and order it. And then, we take like a slight management fee. I think it's like maybe like 10% of whatever profit. And then, the artist
and
gets to keep like basically like 80 to 90% of their profit off any of the merch that's being sold. They get really cool clothes and
good
just,
quality too,
yeah,
and
good
everything
quality.
seemed like pretty good quality from what I saw
Yeah, yeah,
and
no.
felt and, like, experienced
Yeah, our
at the
roster
booth.
is honestly, it's grown so big, and we've been going through so many changes at the shop that it's been we have a bit of a waiting line at this point.
Yeah. Your hats, you guys were doing the embroidery
So
hats at
yeah,
Soul
that's what
Dance.
really like started blowing us up is we were doing embroidery on fuzzy bucket hats.
Mhm.
Which if you've seen anybody walking in Denver with the fuzzy bucket hats and some embroidery, chances are it's from Open Minded. Which
Wow.
it is absolutely amazing just being out in public and then being like, "Yo, I like your hat," and they're like, "Thanks, I got it from Open Minded," and I'm like, "I know, I made it."
I know I made it. And they're like, "Hey."
Yeah, and I always give him a big hug and hug it.
Oh.
Yeah, it's there's like it is really just an amazing feeling just to be like involved in the community, and that's not just music, but in that sense as well. And being able to help other artists, like maybe get merch where they might not have
Yeah.
had like an avenue to do that, or
Yeah.
it's always hard, like thinking like, okay, I have to spend all this money. It's a huge investment, and then I gotta sit on it, and then I gotta sell it.
And then I
We sort
have,
of take
like,
all that weight off the plate
yeah,
for
and
them.
there's, like, really no support for artists unless you have the money to pay for it. That's really awesome that you guys offer that.
It's cool because we'll work with these people, and then they'll tell their friends, and they'll tell their friends. So then we get to meet and interact with a lot of artists, like on a personal level. I think one of the bigger names that we've done merch for Thought Process, and I mean Joe and Catherine,
Mhm.
his girl.
They're awesome.
They are such one amazing artists. What they're doing, they're making huge strides.
I
I'm
hear
always seeing, I'm always like in the crowd, like I make your foot close, motherfucker. Yes.
just seeing him blow up over the last 4 years.
Oh, it's been a blessing. It's been a blessing
It's
just to see
so
his
cool.
journey,
He
and
deserves
I
it.
am so proud of him.
He
Yeah,
deserves it. He and
he's
Catherine are amazing people
power
and
couple.
very much so. And they're the kind of people where I look at their success and it's like inspiring.
Oh
It feels
yeah.
very wholesome. Joe,
Man.
Catherine, if you want to come on the podcast, would love to have you.
Yeah,
But
they
yeah.
should. I'm sure they would love that.
Yeah, well, that's so cool. Thanks. I would have been kicking myself if we ended this without talking about vending and any of that. So I'm really grateful. I'm glad we covered that because that's really awesome.
Yeah, it's a big part of that's like, that's the other thing that I'm doing most of the time is if I'm not like in the studio making music and stuff, then I'm making clothes,
Yeah,
so in one way or another, just staying busy, trying to just like,
keep creating.
be an artist, keep
You're a creator.
creating.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Any community shout outs to anyone, and then we're gonna end it.
I mean, shout out to Black Box. Thank you guys for having me out. Shout out to Base Package. That's a production company holding the event. Um, Shout out to Open Minded, as always. Jameson, love you.
Shout out Jameson.
Shout out the Qualia boys. My boy Fern. Yeah, my boy Flo. If you don't know, Flo, PHLO, an amazing graphic designer as well as just an amazing music producer. Shout out
Cool.
to all the amazing artists that I work with just on a daily basis. The Subsidy, all of Subsidy, River Beats, they're always doing big things.
I am so happy that we got to do this, given there were so many scheduling conflicts, but I'm glad we did. You came over
Yeah,
and I got to have you.
that was on me. I'm
It's
hard to
all
get a
right.
hold of sometimes.
Yeah, it's okay. Honestly, I mean, if
Oh
you
yeah.
ghosted me, then you
No,
wouldn't be here right
I
now.
would, yeah,
So, yeah.
I would never do that. I like, dude, I'll have things in my calendar and I'll have reminders and everything, and then the day comes up and I'm like, oh, I still fucked up,
Oh
you
yeah.
know.
Oh yeah. No,
But I try to be
that's
communicative about that, and thank you for still having me on.
yeah.
I really felt when I woke up today and I realized I was a little late. I felt really, really bad. So
Oh.
I'm glad that you've been just
Yeah,
so
no, it's okay. I
cool, and
wasn't mad or anything. I was just
yeah,
like
glad we were still able to do this.
frustrated, but whatever. Yeah, no, it's fine.
Yeah,
You're
well, I
fine.
owe you one. I'll bring over a fat joint next time, maybe some
And
dabs.
maybe some producer lessons
Yeah,
would be
whenever.
fun.
If you want to hop on Discord or if you want to stop by the studio, I'm right in Rhino, so I'm not too far away. You're always
That would
welcome to
be
come check
cool.
out the studio.
Kyle Coffey, thank you so much for coming on 303 BPM podcast today.
Thank you again so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Yeah.
You're
Woo!
amazing. Love
Thank
you.
you. That's a wrap on this week's episode of 303 BPM. Thank you so much to our guest for coming on, and thank you for listening. If you like what you heard, leave a review, share with a friend, and follow along with us on Instagram at 303BPM Pod, on YouTube at 303BPM Podcast, and 303BPM Podcast on all streaming platforms. Until next time, we'll catch you where the bass hits the hardest.